I was at Orthodox potluck in the Gold Coast this week. In a conversation with a Moody Bible Institute student, she told me she could be expelled from Moody Bible Institute for not being Protestant. We discussed that some are debtors and some are trespassers, and everyone's a sinner. And at the moment, the world seems to be adrift in a sea of sin. Chicago is ready for the Democrat National Convention with lavish window displays and other storefronts boarded up. Plywood has been stockpiled in case it's needed at a moment's notice. For all the talk about diversity and inclusion, plywood seems to be the answer to the reality that it didn't work. In all the preparations, I was reminded more than once that we can be patriotic, but not political. Years ago, I was impressed by Anna Wintour at the start of the sustainability narrative. She said Vogue would continue to be championing and feature fur and animal products because politics doesn't make for very good fashion. Protestantism probably has more to do with good taste than with fashion. And politics is not the same as being partisan. There's nothing more partisan than a convention for one party. None of it has anything to do with good governance. We all think we have it right as a sinner, as a debtor, and as a trespasser. It's all just different ways of hearing ourselves say, our ways are not God's ways. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Sunday Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about neographic art, unsolved mysteries, Meigs Field, non-typical behavior, and polite society. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Kings. Don't let the sun go down on your bad fashion. And from Ephesians, we're all members of the Uniparty. The gospel reading is Christ is a bread sandwich. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Kelly Brown Douglas. Kelly reminded us that we're a lectionary people. We're all hearing the same reading on Sunday, yet that most mainline churches will be hearing at the same time. We like things to be in order and to make sense. It reminds us that we're in God's story together. Each week, we're invited to participate in God's story. Those other people, the people who don't follow the lectionary well, we don't know what they're doing. They'll have to find their own invitation. Kelly said we all need an invitation at this time of ill will. It's always a time of ill will for someone. And God is looking for us in the ill will and in the joy of life. Kelly Brown Douglas said community depends on telling the truth. She said polarization lives and breathes on lies and misinformation. She said she knows it's not easy to stand up and tell the truth because we're all just dying to do so. It's an invitation we've all been waiting for to squash someone else. Our story diverges from God's story when this kind of behavior and truth-telling happens. It's the difference between truth-telling and weaponization. One would think some people must have a natural desire to be hated because they seem to go out of their way to make us hate them. There always seems to be an us and a them. And that's always seems to be part of the story that's always diverging from God's story. No matter how satisfying it is to do so, we need to abide by God's story. Yes, we are a lectionary people. We like to have it our way and God's way. It gets us through the day. Collateral damage is just the byproduct of being human. It's the most inhuman way of being human we can be. At St. James Cathedral, Lisa Hackney James preached about being on the continuum of being people. We come to church for various reasons. Some of us are seeking Christ and community, and maybe both. We have other options. We could go to brunch with friends, enjoy the glorious summer day, or go for a walk. Lisa said, but we choose to come to church instead. Christ reminds us that we have an essence and a substance. Being ourselves doesn't always mean being ourselves, doing what we want to do and doing what we don't really want to do. Maybe going on the walk on a glorious summer day is not what we really want to do. Maybe we want something more. We live in a time of strife and turmoil. There's plenty to be angry about. Lisa said it's okay to be angry. We can be angry even in love. We all need to say what we need to say and tell the truth. But Lisa cautioned us that speaking truth to power is not throwing a hand grenade into the conversation. We're tempted to do that, but it's not part of building up the beloved community. We all see hand grenades flying all the time. It's like living in a war zone. It's easy to do so, and it's easy to feel good about throwing them, but it's probably not a very satisfying way of feeling good. We can be grateful instead. That's the best antidote. Being grateful transcends ill will. There's a difference between being defeated and being conquered. We need to defeat lies and misinformation, but not be conquered by ill will. Good taste often seems like doing less is more, but often people don't notice it. Throwing less hand grenades might not get you much credit, but it's something that God will appreciate and appreciate your good taste for it. My father often said kind of derogatory things about people at home, and in public, he would be completely cordial. It was a social convention. At conflict resolution class years later, we learned that most of us never learned how to discuss differences because there never were any conflicts at home. Everyone wants to be nice, especially if you're in a loving relationship, and also if you're not. We all notice bad behavior, but we're reluctant to call it out because none of us want to be a square. There's a new video out with Tim Waltz and Kamala. It's casual banter with lots of laughs and gentle poking. They're so cool. They're appealing to our better side. They want to be our friends and part of a movement that just started, a grassroots movement that just started from the top down. It's very well done. But this is what got us into this mess in the first place, playing to our better selves. No one wants to say anything, and we all want to think we're good people. Ayn Rand said that all relationships are transactional. If you give money to a beggar, the beggar is selling you the idea that you're a good person. At the Orthodox potluck, we talked about Protestantism, good taste, and worship style. I don't think we could consider Presbyterians as being fashionable, but good taste means erring on the side of less is more to avoid ever coming close to being vulgar. Yes, the Democrats are coming to Chicago. They are selling us something. Most of us are afraid to ask the price because it's vulgar to do so. Stores are decorated and boarded up. There's a cost for what they're selling us. Politics doesn't make for very good fashion, and religions are the worst kind of partisanship. Anna Wintour says it's fine to wear fur regardless of what they say. It's all just different ways of saying our ways are not God's ways. And learning and leaning into the gratitude are the best ways to experience God's reality. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I'll include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.